Welcome, everyone, to the final lesson of year one in the Academy of Soul Manifestation. And I would like to begin this lesson with us focusing in a prayer of gratitude. Wherever you are right now, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let's begin by feeling the great gratitude that we share for this year that we have spent together, a year of awakening, a year of opening deeply to our commitment to being instruments of peace. This year that we have shared and spent together, asking for that brilliant I am consciousness to move through and as us every moment. The depths that we have gone to, the level that we have soared to, the heights and the depths of sometimes our despair, our difficulty, the things that have led us even deeper, the things that have been difficult for us to overcome, but that we have been brave enough to look at, that we have been brave enough to heal. I want you to feel that in-swell of gratitude for all of the brothers and sisters in this beautiful family that we have created, for all of these beautiful souls who, like us, have made a commitment, who have said yes. I want you to feel the gratitude for every interaction that you've had. And then I want you to feel gratitude for those who have helped to nurture this experience within you, whether it be myself or Cheryl or Noreen or others, people in your own community perhaps, who have supported you and nurtured you spiritually. Feel gratitude for that. And finally, I'm going to ask that we now feel gratitude for those who are about to follow after us. The brothers and sisters who are going to be beginning year one in just a couple of weeks now, who we are going to steward, who we are going to support. We feel gratitude for their presence because it is through them that this will deepen. It is through them that we will learn even more, that we will go even higher because of our service to them. So we begin this lesson, number 50, in the gratitude of this awakening, of this integration. Take another deep breath. And as we hold this space of gratitude throughout this lesson, we say, and so it is. So today, as we enter into the final lesson of year one, we're going to be doing two things. We're going to be looking back a little bit. I've gone back over some of the lessons that we have shared over the last 12 months. And I've been looking at the deeper lessons, the lesson or the themes that have been tracked throughout the entire year that maybe have shown up in different ways during this first year. So we're going to be going over them for the first part of the lesson. We're going to look at about 6 of the main messages that we have received and integrated over this last year so that we can reintegrate, we can deepen even more the lessons that we have learned. And then we're going to look forward into year 2. What is year 2 going to look like for us? What will we be doing? What will we be focused on? And how will we be in service to these others who will come after us? So to begin, we want to talk about lesson 1. I don't know if you can go that far back in your mind. It's amazing to think that we have been doing this for just over a year now, but let's go back to lesson number 1, where we began talking about living within the I am consciousness. One of the things that I asked you to do at the very, very beginning, I asked each one of you to say yes out loud. Say yes so that the universe itself can feel the vibration of your commitment. You began by making a commitment to live within the I am current, to awaken the I am current within yourself, and then to share that, to be the source of that for others. And when you say yes and you really mean that and you put that out into the universe, you literally put the vibration of that into the ethers, there is always a response. And the response is always like the initial call. It will always be yes. So I want you to do that again. I want you to, just as you did in the first lesson, here we are now in the 50th lesson. I want you to reach deep within you, and I want you to feel that original yes that you experienced. I want you to feel that affirmation of spirit, your commitment to live within the I am consciousness consistently, and to share that, and in doing so, to have it strengthened within you. I want you to find that place of yes again. And when you do, just as you did in lesson 1, I'm going to ask that you say yes out loud. Just like this. Yes. And feel it. Feel the reverberations of that yes. Feel the universe respond to that yes. And realize that this is just a continued yes. The yes is moment to moment, instant by instant. Each holy instant that you affirm this and say yes, you are brought deeper into your own I am consciousness. So say it out loud and really mean it, just as you did in lesson 1, because really it's always lesson 1. There's really only one. It's really only that yes, continually expressed and deepened in every moment. So thank you. Thank you for being willing to say that again, to share that, and to deepen that. And then we shared another lesson, which was called the 3 guides. It was very important, I felt, at the very beginning for us to have our own personal soul guide, someone that you can go back to energetically, knowing that this is the embodiment of everything that you wanted to achieve and to share through the Academy lessons, and each one of you did pick a soul guide. But then we had the 3 guides of the community itself, and they were Moses and Jesus and Gandhi. So we turn back to them now. Moses and his willingness to show courage in the face of unbelievable odds, knowing that the I am current within him, the I am expression within him would be enough to go against the most powerful man in the whole world, the Pharaoh, and to using this energy, unbottling this energy within himself, that he would be able to create miracles that would lead to freedom. And then we turn to Jesus, who was the full embodiment of I am consciousness. He lived it to the point that he could say, I am that. And he knew that the possible consequence to saying such a thing would be his death. And yet the current was so strong within him, he could not say it. He could not hold it back, because it was an authentic expression of his inner reality. And so we seek that now as well, an expression of our inner reality, to express that outwardly, to share that, just as Jesus did. And then finally, Gandhi, the I am expression in action. Someone who embodied this to the point that he could not allow injustice to prevail. And yet he did not confront injustice with violence. He confronted it with love, and then still greater love, with nonviolence. Simply holding up a mirror so that the people who were allowing this violence could see themselves. And that's really all we do through this I am consciousness, through this work in the Academy, is we are a mirror. We see that everything is a mirror to us, and we become a mirror to everything as well. So the 3 guides, Moses, Jesus, and Gandhi, they continue to serve us now that we are moving into year 2. We also looked at one of the early lessons at the role of secrecy and sacredness, realizing that we are on a sacred journey, and that we can hold that journey, we can hold that like a child within us, like a woman who is carrying a child within her womb, And she is holding that in a secret way because she senses the sacredness of this new birth. And so each one of you is feeling something growing within you. You're feeling something alive and waking up. And we hold it in a sacred way. And we're also careful in the way that we express it. We don't always have to be grandiose and express things in an outward way that brings attention to us. We can hold it secret so that when people are with us, they sense the mystery. They sense that there is a commitment that we have made, and yet we're not putting ourselves up higher than anyone else. We're simply holding that sacredness in a secret way, and yet we're sharing it through our smile, through each word, through our eyes. We're letting it shine from within us. And also, in that same lesson, we looked at some of the myths of enlightenment. We did talk a lot, and we will continue to talk a lot about the whole experience of enlightenment or illumination. And I have claimed that each one of you is stepping into that. Each one of you in this first year alone have taken enormous strides in stepping into your own enlightenment. But one of the first beginning parts of that is to look at the myths that we have held. For example, the myth that enlightenment will take time, that it takes a long time for us to undo the ego, and that maybe after many years, decades, or even lifetimes, maybe we'll be close to being able to do that. Just a myth that keeps us locked because we know we'll never do it. We know we'll never devote decades to doing this. But if it's right now, if it's right here in this moment, if it's already true, if indeed you are already enlightened and nothing has ever changed within you, then the myth of it taking time vanishes on its own. And also the idea that enlightenment takes effort, that you have to work hard, that you have to do all these things that seem very difficult in order to be enlightened. And we realize now that it is not about effort, it's about commitment and consistency. Your commitment to live within the I am current, your own I am consciousness. It begins there, and then it moves from your commitment into being consistent within it. You may have a momentary experience of illumination, but if you're not consistent with it, it just becomes something that you experienced in another time, but not in this moment. And our whole need and experience is to express this now, in this very moment. And so consistency is so very, very important. Commitment and consistency. And so those alone will undo all of these myths that we have held about the state of enlightenment or illumination. And now we turn to the lesson that we shared on a dedicated life. Speaking of consistency, are you willing to continue to be a consistent bridge for others to step into this? Obviously, an enormous part, the main part of this program has been about the extension. You signed on to be a soul coach, whatever that means to you. For some, it's going to mean a very organized practice. For others, it'll mean something slightly different. But regardless, to be consistent in being a bridge for others, to be consistent first within yourself, to realize that you have made a commitment, a deep and sacred commitment to your source, to the beloved, to God, to wake up and to stay awake, not just to have an awakened experience, but to stay awake. And you will stay awake by consistently being a bridge to others. That's what a dedicated life is. So you have stepped into this, and you are going to be held to a very high standard. Will you continue to choose to be dedicated to this extension? Will you dedicate your own life to this? Not just a year or 2 years, or whether you do or do not decide to go into a soul coaching practice, but will you be dedicated to being the source of this to others? Because I promise you it is the only way that it will continue to mature within yourself. And that move leads us to another lesson, which I know a lot of you really enjoyed. That prayer of the soul, I am here only to be truly helpful. This is the prayer that the soul longs to express, to be truly helpful. Not helpful in an earthly way, helping your buddy move on a weekend that he needs to get into a new apartment. That's great. But you are longing for something much deeper than that. You answered this call to be a soul coach for a much deeper reason, because you want to be truly helpful. You want to be helpful on a soul level. A huge part, maybe even the majority of this course, has been about integrating this yourself. This has not been like a typical life coaching school where you're learning the business of being a life coach. How do you market it? How do you set up your practice? In most cases, the majority of the time is spent on those sorts of logistics. What we have focused on is how do you integrate this consciousness, knowing that when you integrate this consciousness, the extension of that is automatic. Then you are truly helpful. You can help people on levels that you can't even begin to imagine right now. You can be assistance to people on a soul level that awakens not only their soul, but the souls of countless others. That's what we're here for. That's what you said yes to in lesson 1. That's what you said yes to at the beginning of this lesson, and it's what you will continue to say yes to forever. And then we talked a lot also about the ministry of the moment. Regardless of whether you are setting up your own coaching practice or not, you are called to be involved in the ministry of the moment. You are called to be a constant, consistent expression of this every moment, and to realize that every moment provides you with everything that you need to do this work. Wherever you are, whoever's in front of you, to be the source of that goodness. To seek not higher goods, but higher goodness. To seek and to offer this to others. This is the ministry of the moment, and to treat every moment as a sacred opportunity. Those of you who are starting your practice, especially in year 2, don't forget that your practice is a constant thing. And those of you who will not be actually doing a normal soul coaching practice, but will be focused on the extension of this constantly, it's always about the ministry of the moment. You are now a minister of the moment. You are ministering the moment to all of those who are sent to you. And Spirit will send them to you, I promise you. You have stepped into your own I am consciousness, and now you will be used to serve. You will be used to serve in this great awakening that is all around us right now. That you feel, that I feel, that we all feel. To serve the awakening into oneness. So the ministry of the moment, really, these are the lessons, the 6 ones that I picked here. These really sum up the heart of our year 1 experience. Living with the I am consciousness by saying yes and meaning that and allowing that yes to reverberate throughout the whole universe. Using our guides, whether it be our soul guide that we picked individually or the 3 guides that we have here in this community, Moses, Jesus, and Gandhi, as examples. Secrecy and sacredness, holding this like a baby within our womb and realizing that the myths of enlightenment are only myths. They're not there to hold us back at all. And that we are here to lead a dedicated life, to be consistent, to be a bridge to others, and also to be truly helpful in the way that only the soul can understand. In the ministry of the moment, to realize that every moment we are given exactly what we need, exactly what we are required, exactly what we do require, so that we can offer this beautiful gift that we have received to all of these other souls who are sent to us. So now that we've had the opportunity to reflect a bit on what we received and learned in year 1, we're going to now look at year 2. Year 2 of this program. What are we going to be focused on? What will be expected of us? And I'll begin by saying that year 1 has been a year focused on integration. We have been integrating the I am consciousness in very deep ways. Year 2 is more focused on extension. How do we then once we have integrated this, once we are living it, how do we continue to extend it? Now, for some of us, that will be through our coaching practice, and we'll talk a lot about that during year two. But there are going to be a couple of other things that are going to be very important, so I wanted to tell you about that now. To begin, we are going to have an extension project. Each one of us is going to we're going to pick a project that we are going to be focused on during this year that will allow us to extend into our own community. This will be a service project. It could be something like working one day a week in a homeless shelter, where we have the chance to interact with people who seem to be less advantaged to us and to share this consciousness, simply to be present with them in this consciousness. It could be something like that. It could be in a school. It could be something even more general. But I'm going to expect you, all of you, to pick a project within the next month, and you're going to spend a year sharing about this on our conference calls that we will continue to have on a nearly every week basis. And we'll get together, we'll talk about our service projects, how they're going, what we've chosen, what we've learned, what our challenges have been, that kind of thing. That will be a great way that we can support one another. So this will once again be something that you will do in your community, something that you can dedicate yourself to, and something that is of service. Obviously not something that you're getting paid for. And that will be part of your extension project. The other part is that each one of you is going to play a role in working with our new year one students. We are getting ready right now to launch a new group. It will actually be slightly smaller than the group that we have present now, all of you, but we are going to assign each one of you one of two different positions, either soul coach or soul friend. Now, I will be making that determination based upon my own intuition of having worked with each one of you, and where I feel you are in your own ministry. For some of you who are not planning on having an active soul coaching practice, maybe I will be assigning you to the role of soul friend. There really won't be that much of a difference. It's really just about holding the hand of one or more people in this new group so that they can benefit from your experience. You who have walked before them, who have been integrating these lessons for a year now, you are going to be of great service to them. I wish we could have had this for the very first group. Of course, this community, or this academy rather, is going to continue for many years. Our first group, who I'm speaking to at this moment, we didn't have the benefit of having people who have walked before us, but now we offer that which we have required, that which we have needed, and in doing so we receive the gift of that as well. So the two extension projects are to find something in your community that you can do during this year on a consistent basis that will help you to extend this in a service-oriented way, whether it be a food pantry, a nursing home, something like that. We'll be talking about that more as we go. And then also being a mentor to someone in the year one, either as a soul coach or a soul friend. Okay? And I'm going to be asking you to be developing a plan coming up here. Begin thinking about that now. What is your own plan for year two? Year one was largely driven by me and or Cheryl. And year two is going to be a bit more of your own responsibility to develop your plan of how you are going to extend this. And we are going to continue, obviously, to offer support in this so that you will always feel that you have us, me and Angela and others to fall back on to help you in this. But it is also going to be about you developing your own soul plan, whether you are starting to practice or not. Whether this is only a ministry of the moment or more, you're going to have a plan now of what you want to accomplish most of all in year two. So I'm going to be asking you to begin doing that now. Think about that now. What is your personal plan? How will you begin to extend this into your community? How will you begin your own practice? We're going to talk about that often during this next year. And then, of course, the most important part of this is just to continue what we have been doing here in year one, which is deepening the I am commitment, deepening the expression of I am consciousness as it flows through you uniquely every moment. We have said over and over again, this is not about perfection, it's about consistency. It's about you learning to be consistent in the expression of this field of energy. It literally is a field. You will feel it, as I know you all have. The deeper you go into the extension of I am consciousness, the greater and the stronger that force field is. It is the field of the force. The force like in Star Trek. Star Wars, rather, sorry. To make the force strong within you by offering it in service to others. This is what we are about now. So deepening that commitment to the I am. That will always be the foundation not only of this academy, but of your life now. Even after year 2, when you have graduated from this academy, the lessons don't stop. They continue on and on. The deepening continues on. The integration continues on. And most of all, the extension will always continue on. Because you cannot learn this unless you extend it, unless you offer it to others. This is how you demonstrate what you have learned. So we're going to go ahead and begin to close up this lesson now. I just want to end by expressing my own gratitude to each one of you. I have so enjoyed spending deep, powerful time with you all. We have had students who have 2 or 3 who decided that this was not for them, that they weren't ready for this level of commitment. But each one of you have stayed with this. And I'm going to ask you to continue on, to stay with this a bit longer, because in a way we've only just begun. Begin thinking about your extension project in the community. We'll be talking more about how you will be mentoring someone in year 1 and developing your own plan. What will you be doing in year 2 to continue this divine flow? So that being said, I love each one of you. I am so grateful to have you in my life to help me to deepen this within my own heart. I am eternally grateful to you and look so forward to continuing this journey in year 2.